You guys heard it right. So if you're looking to outsource your dropshipping store, or you're just generally curious on how to outsource a dropshipping store to 7 figures, and I'm not talking about outsourcing the whole store, you could still take hand of the marketing, you could hire a team for it, there's a lot of things you guys can do. But if you guys are looking to automate a dropshipping store, and it doesn't have to be 7 figures, in this case though, it's a 7-figure dropshipping store, but still this applies to any types of dropshipping store. If you're looking to outsource your dropshipping store, I got you guys. So the Ecom boss here, I'm going to teach you guys how to outsource a dropshipping store, how to scale it to 7 figures, and I'm also going to explain for you guys how to get a VA, where to find a VA, what you guys should pay a VA, and similar things like that, how to deal with customer support, when you should scale, because there's certain times you should not scale where you should save your money, you need to get your shipping times in place, a lot of stuff when it comes to automating your dropshipping store. And if you're not going to automate your dropshipping store, you still need a couple of these things in place, especially shipping times, etc. So that's what we're going to go over in today's video. Like I said, I started doing consulting call giveaways as well, so if you want to win the next video's free 30-minute consulting call, make sure you subscribe to my channel and drop a like on this. I will be checking and comments. The last giveaway winner is GNR Yushi. You can message me on my Instagram, will be here. If you want to get into the dropshipping coaching program, you can message me on Instagram here as well. And let's get into it. I'll teach you guys exactly how to outsource a store. And keep in mind, I've been doing this myself, right? As I do it to this day. I had to put my microphone a little bit closer. So the first thing I want you guys to know when it comes to automating your dropshipping store, which is going to play a role, which you guys might think that this doesn't have too much to do with the thing, but it's more about 7 figures. Well, first thing you need to do in order to automate it is to have a quick shipping times. You will need it. I mean, that doesn't go under a category of automating, but you will need to have quick shipping times. So that's my number one, quick shipping times. You need to have quick shipping times. It's going to be super important, at least if you're trying to scale to 7 figures. Like I said, this video is about how to outsource it, automate it, and also scale to 7 figures. So quick shipping times, super important, that you can't scale too high before you got your shipping times in place. If you want to outsource your dropshipping store, you need to get in touch with a supplier, because there's going to be some people that's going to automate your store, outsource it, your VAs and everything. They will have to know who they're dealing with, where to ship the product, which supplier to choose, all that stuff. You need to implement that into your store. You need to make sure you know your supplier. If you're ever planning on scaling to 7 figures, man, you got to know your supplier perfectly, because a lot of suppliers, they could, it's something new for them as well, blowing up something. So if you start getting orders of like 1,000 products a day, because that's what you probably will do if you're scaling to 7 figures, like if you get in that situation and the supplier is not prepared for it, man, that's going to be a huge problem. You guys are probably wondering a little bit more like, how do I actually outsource my store, which I will get into in a second here. First way to outsource your store is to get a VA for fulfillment. I'm rolling up footage right now of how I find VAs to get fulfillment. There's an awesome Facebook group. It's called AliExpress Dropshipping Club, and in that group, I'm pretty sure that's what it's named at least, and in that group you guys will have the opportunity to find a lot of people that's just looking to work as a VA, maybe looking for experience. They just want to be a VA making some money, so you guys could get a VA to ship out your orders, make this way more automated for you. Because I'll tell you, if you're ever planning on scaling a store high, you cannot rely on shipping out the orders yourself. You simply won't have time for it, and it's not even worth your time if you're making a lot of money. So in that group, you can say I'm doing like 20 orders a day, 30 orders a day, 100, whatever orders you're doing a day. You can make sure to tell the VA that, and they will get on it. So you need someone that's actually qualified to ship out these orders. Maybe you even need 2 eventually at a certain point. And you might be asking me, how much do you pay a VA for shipping out orders? Is it an hourly rate? What is it? Make sure you like the video, press the like button please, and subscribe to my channel and comment. But if you guys have that question, I'll answer it. You could do 20 cents, $0.20 or $0.25 per order. So a really good price would probably be like 25 cents, $0.25 per order. So if the VA ships out 4 orders, that's $1. If it ships out 100, I can't do the math, but $1 per 4th order, $0.25 per order. Super good way to pay a VA, because they will most likely do it. Keep in mind, if they ship out like 100 orders a day, they will actually be making some money. And in some countries, for example, for you watching, you might say that's no money, but in some places, like making $1,000 a month or something could actually be a decent amount of money. So for some people, you could probably change their life by them being your VA, but you got to make sure you have a good VA and that they do their job, because there are a lot of VAs in that group you're just working with and they have no experience whatsoever. You want to have an experienced VA, because these VAs, they can be a little bit different. They could be like, for example, they don't want to ship out the orders, so they just go to bed instead. You need to keep track of the VAs. Keep in mind, you're building a team, and you might say like, this is not my team, I just hired a guy to outsource my orders. But look at it as a team. If you're gonna get a VA, that VA, you got to make sure he does his job, because if that goes by 5 days where he's just being lazy and you don't check that he's doing his job, your business could be over, because you're not shipping out your orders. Your orders needs to be shipped out straight away. That's super important, because the shipping times are going to be long. So the quicker you can ship out your orders, the better. And back to the first thing, how do you get quicker shipping times? You need to get in touch with a supplier. I will get into that in a second. You cannot rely on AliExpress suppliers. I mean, you can in the beginning, but you need to ask yourself the question, have the supplier actually scaled like this before? And that is super important to know, because for a supplier, it could be something completely new. Like if I talked a little bit about this earlier, like if you were the supplier and someone just took your store and just blew it up with your product, and now they're starting making 1,000 orders a day, and you just put it on tally. I mean, you probably, as a supplier, you probably sold 20 to 30 orders before, especially if it's an untapped product. Like, what is the supplier going to do? Do you even have the inventory? These are things you need to check up front. You could also get in touch with an agent in China that might have this product, and there are a lot of different suppliers too. So if your supplier is out of the product, you might have to look into, you know, more expensive suppliers, getting an agent in China. You can get an agent in China in this Shopify Dropshipping Club, that one I just showed you guys, the AliExpress Dropshipping Club, the group. You can get an agent there. That's what I did for one of my products, and it just blew up. So there's a perfect place to get an agent too. But that's super important. You need to have an agent in place if you're looking to scale, or at least if you don't have an agent, that is also cool. But you need to know your AliExpress supplier. A good thing could be to order inventory eventually, but you need to know your supplier. So you can't get in a situation where you're selling 500 orders and he only had the inventory left for 100 orders. So you gotta be on track with your supplier, because keep in mind, if, like I said, if you sell 500 orders in one day and he can only ship out 100, your business is going down. That's absolutely not good. You're probably gonna get chargebacks or whatever. The customers can't wait on your supplier to, first of all, your supplier takes 7 days to get the product back, for example, to get more of them, but you said 20 days shipping on your page. So now you have 13 days after the order arrived to the supplier again to, you know, push it out, which is just gonna be totally bad for your shipping time. Gonna be way over your shipping time. People will start charging back. So this is more important than you guys would ever think. People don't really talk about this, but if you're planning on scaling high, you need to know your supplier. You need to know your shipping times. This thing is gonna be super important. There's an easy way to understand that, and that is to go to a supplier, and it doesn't have to be the one you're using now, but just supplier for the same product. There's gonna be a contact us page at the, you know, left a little. If you scroll a little bit down the AliExpress page, there's gonna be a contact us section where you guys can get in touch with a supplier. So definitely get your supplier on WhatsApp, so you're able to talk to that supplier every single day, figuring out how his business is going, when should you order inventory. And also you guys can then get an agent too, because they can get the products even though you don't know where to get the products. But just make sure you get in touch with the supplier. You got him in WhatsApp, for example. There's a lot of good tools to, you know, get in touch with the supplier, but you can't just run this without ever talking to the supplier, because this is a problem I see with a lot of people, my students included. Before I talk to them though, when I talk to them, they obviously switch it up. But a lot of people, they just dropship relying on AliExpress. They don't even think 2 times, you know, they just dropship and leave it up to the supplier, but they don't know the supplier, they don't know anything about him. So when you're looking to scale high, I mean, the first orders, you don't have to rely on the supplier for the first 10 orders. It's totally fine, you know. But once you start, you know, seeing the snowball effect, you're starting to see more orders. Super important that you know your suppliers, because like I said, people, they just rely on the suppliers. They don't think they're gonna do anything wrong whatsoever, and that could lead to a really dangerous path later on, maybe, you know, throughout the month. There are also 2 different types of VAs, virtual assistants, which I'm gonna get into right now. So the first type of a VA, virtual assistant, is going to be order fulfillment. Order fulfillment is a super huge thing. One of your VAs got to make sure he's fulfilling the orders. Eventually, you probably have multiple VAs fulfilling the orders. And the second one is going to be your VA that has to do with the customer support. Before I get into the customer support part, I want to promote my second YouTube channel. I set up a new YouTube channel. I'm going to keep posting on the Ecom Boss almost every single day. This is my main channel. This is my favorite channel. So do not worry about the Ecom Boss whatsoever. But if you guys want to see more general business on how to make $300 as a teenager, and me doing a couple of challenges, talking a little bit about money, finance, how to start a new business, social media marketing, could be whatever, the link is probably like the second link in the description. So make sure you subscribe to me if you want to see more on that channel. The second type of a VA is someone that takes care of the customer support, answering your emails, answering your Facebook, because you can't do all of that yourself, but you could probably do it with your VA, because you need to run the ads, you need to, you know, make sure the business is going, run the back end of the business, maybe, you know, order inventory, get a warehouse eventually later on. So you need a VA that could take care of, first of all, fulfillment of the orders, and second of all, customer support. Because believe it or not, guys, I mean, obviously believe it, but you need someone for real that knows how to talk with your customers. I mean, you know it yourself, but someone that has time to do this. How you're gonna pay them could be a little bit, you know, individual. I can give too much advice, to be completely honest, on what to pay a customer service type of VA, but you could probably pay him per email he answers or something. But this is super important, because you need to have tracking numbers in place as well. That is also not a huge thing. If you're planning on scaling to 7 figures, you need to let your customer have the ability to check his tracking. This is super important, because I order a product from a big brand of YouTubers, a prank channel. Oh, I just exposed it, but forgive, because you guys could probably guess. Anyways, I ordered from that channel, and it took me 4 months, and the order has still not arrived. 4 months, no order whatsoever, and the tracking number is still just says it's in Mexico or something. So you need to have good tracking numbers. You don't want to be like that, so just be super careful about that. If you're saying 30-day shipping, you gotta have 30-day shipping. So eventually you will get later down the path, you will get to a point where you probably do have to set up like a warehouse, and Shopify has warehouses all over the place. You could almost have, like, you could call it like a virtual warehouse, where you just order it, you have people in the warehouse that takes care of it, but you're not there here yourself. This is a little bit advanced to set it up, but you can just order to a warehouse and people ship it out for you. That's a really good way to go as well. Another thing that's super important in terms of scaling to 7 figures, and this is honestly to 6 figures as well, maybe not to 5, but if you're ever planning on scaling to 6-7 figures, you need to have quick payouts, for real. If you cannot get quick payouts, you're in huge trouble, because if you're gonna wait on Stripe to pay you out for like 7 days, you're in a bad position already, because you need money to fund the business. And what if PayPal is on hold? So let's just say your PayPal account is now on hold, so PayPal holds all your money for 20 days, usually 21 days. How are you going to fund your business, fund the ads, even ship out the orders if your whole PayPal is on hold? And PayPal could in theory be 80% of your sales in some cases. I mean, that's a little extreme, but I've seen it happen up to 90% of sales coming from PayPal. So if your PayPal is on hold, you need money to fund your business. That could be from Stripe or Shopify payments. I mean, Shopify payments is powered by Stripe, but you need to set up quicker payouts, because all of a sudden it's going to come to the point where you're out of money. You have a lot of money, but the money you have is held, so you need to make sure that you have quick payouts. So first of all, go from 7-day payout in Stripe to 4-day payout. Before you do that, you need to make some sales first so they actually believe in you, and then get the 4-day payout. And if you're in the right country, you could apply from getting 1-day payout. So make sure you get your payouts as quick as you physically can, because that allows you to scale your business way higher. And do not spend more like $100 to $300 a day on Facebook ads before you know your supplier, before your shipping time sorter, because if you spend a lot of money and everything crashes, you're gonna lose money. So make sure, guys, that you know your supplier, because I mean, if you don't, you're in a bad situation. You can probably be in a bad situation as well if you don't click like on this video and subscribe, just because you're losing out on so much value. And that is obviously not the whole blueprint on how to scale to 7 figures. That's my top 5, for example, something like that. My top tips on how to scale to 7 figures. The 5 things probably that you need to have in place before you scale up to 7 figures. If you don't have these things in place, and I'm talking all of them, you're in big trouble. And there's obviously way more things to do if you want to scale to 7 figures, but these are the 5 or 6 or whatever key factors that you have to have in place if you're ever planning on scaling to 7 figures. So make sure you do all of this. There are more to it. There's scaling. There's way more. I mean, one other thing you guys could do is to outsource your marketing. I don't recommend it. I do it myself. But if you want to scale high and you have a lot of other stuff to do in the business, because at the end of the day, this is a business. So one thing you could do is to outsource your marketing, hire a marketing agency to run your ads. They'll probably charge a lot, but at this point, when you're going to hire a marketing agency, you're probably making a lot of money already. So that's another thing you guys could do. You could hire experienced people, like, I don't know, I have no ideas, but you could hire a marketing agency to run your ads for you. I'm not talking an $800, $900, $1,000 marketing agency. I'm talking about hiring a good agency that charges like $3,000 a month and 20% of your profit or something. You need to get a team in place. It's super hard to scale a 7-figure business alone. So you need to be able to give something up, but this is truly worth it, because these guys, they're experts at scaling. They know exactly what they're doing. Me personally, I only scale my stores up to like 300-400k a month maximum, but I have multiple stores though, but the profit is good. You know, we have profit margin of like 40 to 70% net, so it is good. But if I were to look to scale higher, I would definitely probably have to get a marketing team in place. I don't think so, honestly, because I'm really confident in my Facebook ads, but if I were to have time to run the whole business. But these marketing teams are genius, so that's also a good way to go. So that's not all the points on scaling to 7 figures, but these are like key factors. These are things you have to have in place. If you like this video, make sure to smash a thumbs up. Please click the like button. If you just please click the like, it means a lot to me. Subscribe to my second channel. That's going to be around the second link in the description. And you guys see me in the next video. Peace.